And so the coming of John then leads to the sorrow songs. So this connects everything together from the beginning of the text. So he begins with these these musical epigraphs at the beginning. He mentions, how they're going to be used, right? And so he has the poetic Western text that goes along with the musical African American text, right? And so now, basically, in chapter 14, he's explaining, why he does this, right? And so he makes this argument for, first of all, he makes an argument for music, and second of all, he makes an argument for African American music. Now, music nowadays, you may wonder, well, why do you have to make an argument for music? Everyone gets it. It's wonderful, et cetera, et cetera. But really, this idea of music as being this sort of holistic, sort of whatever political, emotional, psychological sort of synthesis or state of mind is really arises in the 19th century. It really comes out of romantic sort of philosophy, and Du Bois is at the forefront of this, right? So he receives this romantic tradition of the elevation of music as a philosophical and psychological and sort of idea, existential idea or existential importance to us, and then he applies it in his inimitable sociological and culturological way. And so his analysis of music is one of the first, right, that we see in the late 19th century, and it's absolutely the first one with African American music. So African American music, deriving from the slave experience, is seen at the time or seen in the middle part of the 19th century as not very important. In fact, the minstrel show, right? So white people dressing up in blackface, right, and performing, right, was they would perform and they would perform these sorrow songs, these spirituals, right, and they would be mocking them. Okay, so they would be mocking the experience, mocking the idea of slavery by, you know, singing these songs in different ways or, sort of negative ways. And so Du Bois is dealing with that. He's like, no, these songs are not, for mockery. They're not, small songs. They are not, of little worth. They're of high worth, right? So he really is making this pop culture, this pop music sort of argument, right, for these sorrow songs.